After decades of rumor-mongering, broken by leaks, suspicious concepts, and bulletin board rumor maps from fanboys, Toyota has finally dropped the new FJ Land Cruiser, which will see its dealer appearance later this mid-2026. The return of the FJ badge generates waves of enthusiasm among the fans of off-road capable, go-anywhere pickups. But not all markets will see one. This new generation of Land Cruiser formula packs the brand's off-road capability into a more aggressive, more compact form. At first sight, the Land Cruiser FJ shares the unmistakable DNA of its predecessor brothers, but with a more compact, more dynamic personality. Its stance and proportion give it a war-ready attitude, defying the dilemma between old-fashioned Land Cruiser ruggedness and everyday use. The front itself has two contrasted personalities. It gets dressed up once with round headlights, conjuring a fleeting vision of the vintage FJ40. The other takes the high road with square headlights framing C-shaped day running lights, giving the classic face a futuristic glow. Both front face treatments are united by a shared commonality in a minimalist, no-nonsense grille with big Toyota lettering in the front. Bumpers are of stiff plastic here and vary subtly by trim, being functional shape rather than decoration. There is stiffness imparted down the sides, where boxy fender flares, sculpted panels, and thick cladding construct the look of functional usage. The car is braced and imparted muscle by a colossal rear pillar, but at some compromise to rearward vision. The spare tire bolted to the rear tailgate contributes to the FJ's toughness at the expense of part of the rear window, an inexpensive sacrifice for off-road credibility. The rear follows the utilitarian motif in C-shaped tail lamps and streamlined, minimal bumper styling. Toyota's thoughtful inclusion of removable front and rear corner bumpers is evidence of forward-thinking respect for durability and repairability. With this deal, proprietors are now able to trade worn-out parts after off-road adventures without breaking the bank. The company will supplement this convenience with a humongous inventory of accessories and strong exterior parts intended for personalization. Already, pre-production Land Cruisers have appeared with rock rails, snorkel-style air intakes raised high, and an ARB platform atop. Clear indications that Toyota is trying to appease off-roaders who demand functionality in all directions. With such equipment, the Land Cruiser FJ adds more MOLLE panels, some of which are placed inside the tailgate for mounting and storing gear. It's a plan that bolsters battle-proven capability, on top of the legendary attention to detail of the brand. Size: the Land Cruiser FJ sits comfortably between full-size SUVs and crossovers in a neat slot. Coming in at 180.1 inches long, 73 inches wide, and 77.2 inches tall, it sits firmly between being there and being manageable. With its 101.6-inch wheelbase, it has a big footprint to push through tight trails. The FJ is 4.5 inches longer than the Corolla Cross, but has a 2.3-inch shorter wheelbase. It's 13.7 inches shorter in overall length and 10.6 inches shorter axle to axle than the full-size Land Cruiser. Those same measurements place it firmly in the compact SUV category, but the proportions and stance yell of having been built to do a whole lot more than cruise around town. Inside is the same tough, functional attitude that carries over from outside. The inside takes a little design cue from the Land Cruiser, but employs rugged material more appropriate to harsh life. The driver puts his or her hands on a hard, functional steering wheel and gazes over a modern digital cluster of gauges, showing vital data in a tidy, legible format. There is a widescreen infotainment display that fills the middle over a row of actual-world physical climate controls, a recognition that Toyota is aware touch has its limits, especially when it comes to off-road where gloves are a reality. The appearance is practical, not luxurious, a recognition of the FJ as a true off-road wagon. The shift lever is mid-mounted and flanked by a small cluster of off-road-oriented buttons and switches. These are designed to allow access to such features as locking differentials, hill descent control, and terrain management. The rear seats appear to be tight but can be supplied to allow for sliding functionality for the purpose of meeting cargo needs and leg space. The vehicle also comes equipped with the Toyota Safety Sense package, a complete complement of driver support features from adaptive cruise control to automatic emergency brakes. Under the hood, the Land Cruiser FJ is equipped with a 2.7-liter 2TR FE 4-cylinder engine with 161 horsepower and 181 pound-feet torque. This reliable and old-fashioned motor has been offered to numerous Toyota models over the course of time and is highly praised for being reliable and easy to maintain. Power is sent through a 6-speed automatic with part-time 4-wheel drive. The figures won't thrill performance enthusiasts, but durability and reliability are the key here, two of the originals of Land Cruiser tradition. The chassis is the same IMV series as the Hilux and Fortuner. Toyota has made some adjustments to this model, adding strength to the areas that matter in order to make the body more rigid and precise on the handling. This configuration provides the FJ with stability on the road without compromising its off-road body. The chassis has also been fine-tuned by the engineers to provide just the right level of ruggedness and comfort, something that an SUV must perform equally well on hills as it does on city streets. In line with its heritage, Toyota has paid due emphasis to off-road performance. The FJ designers did all that was possible in an attempt to have maximum ground clearance, approach and departure angles so that the SUV would be as original as a Land Cruiser. The wheel articulation was maximized to offer traction when traveling over rough terrain, and Toyota went as far as putting the model through every extreme condition. The designer signed off that, with this workout was a group of changes committed to preserving the Land Cruiser-ness of the vehicle, an ideal that is a hallmark of the company as it is of its love of ruggedness, control, and unstoppable capability. Certain specifics like suspension geometry and differential settings are unknown, but this is for sure. Toyota designed the FJ to perform at its best under the most dismal conditions. From bumper placement through fender flare design, everything speaks of a search for peak function without sacrificing personality. The two front-end facelifts provide customers with nostalgia or the newest. And the modular bumpers and molly mounts encourage modification for the purists to take on the real adventure. The 2026 Land Cruiser FJ comes at a time when the car world is racing full tilt into electrification and digital excess. But Toyota's small off-roader shows that mechanical simplicity and functionality are titanic charm. It reconciles fuddy-duddy personality and trendy ruggedness, rekindling the emotional connection hitherto forged between owner and FJ series. Availability will vary overseas, but its global introduction is a metaphorical homecoming for Toyota to make cars that take it or leave it and inspire the imagination. In a soft-roader era, the new FJ brings back the original Land Cruiser character to a new generation. Small in size but broad in vision, it is a coming together of tradition and technology. To off-road purists and traditionists alike, the Land Cruiser FJ is more than another new SUV. It is a message that original capability and authenticity never die.